Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the biggest, most explosive scandals in recent American history, the Somali-American charity scam situation in Minnesota. This is not some small-time grift. We're talking more than $1 billion of taxpayer money stolen in broad daylight through fake nonprofits, ghost meals for kids, bogus autism therapy claims, and allegations that some of the cash even ended up with al-Shabaab terrorists in Somalia. I'm going to lay out all the current numbers as of December 2025, how it happened, who did it, the corruption, the political cover-ups, the community fallout, and what could happen next. Buckle up. This one is ugly. At the center of it all is an organization called Feeding Our Future, started in 2015 by a woman named Amy Bach. During COVID, the federal government loosened rules for the child nutrition program so kids wouldn't go hungry. Feeding Our Future and dozens of connected groups claimed they were feeding millions of low-income children. In reality, they were running the largest pandemic-era fraud in U.S. history. Here are the hard numbers right now. Over $250 million stolen just through Feeding Our Future itself. When you add the related autism therapy fraud, housing scams, and other schemes, the total tops $1 billion. Prosecutors say these groups claim to have served 125 million meals that never existed. That's enough to feed every single child in Minnesota multiple times over. 78 people have been indicted across the different cases. 59 have already been convicted. More than 50 took plea deals. 7 lost at trial, including Amy Bach herself. Out of the 86 people charged across all the schemes, the overwhelming majority are Somali-American, many U.S. citizens or longtime residents. Less than $75 million has been recovered so far. The rest bought mansions, Lamborghinis, beachfront property overseas, and disappeared through cash transfers. How did they do it? They created hundreds of shell companies and fake meal sites that didn't exist. One guy claimed he served 2.3 million meals out of a single tiny restaurant. Another group billed for feeding thousands of kids at locations that were literally empty parking lots. In the autism side of the scam, people were paid $300 to $1,500 per fake diagnosis, coaching families to say their kids had autism so they could bill Medicaid for therapy that never happened. Some families were told to claim they had autistic children who didn't even exist. This wasn't happening in secret. The Minnesota Department of Education tried to shut Feeding Our Future down as early as 2018 because the numbers were impossible. Whistleblowers inside the Somali community and state workers kept raising red flags. But the state, under Governor Tim Walz, dragged its feet for years, with some officials later admitting they were afraid of being called racist if they cracked down on Somali-run nonprofits. The corruption goes deeper. In 2024, during one of the trials, a juror was offered a bag with $120,000 in cash to vote not guilty. 7 Somali defendants were on trial that day. The money drop was caught on camera. And then there's the terrorism angle. Federal investigators and the Treasury Department have been tracking whether some of the stolen money was sent back to Somalia through informal money transfer networks called Hawala. Multiple sources, including counter-terrorism officials speaking to outlets like City Journal, say millions likely reached al-Shabaab, the al-Qaeda affiliate that controls large parts of Somalia. Nothing is proven in open court yet, but the investigation is active, and the allegations are serious enough that President Trump has repeatedly called Minnesota a fraud hub and ended temporary protected status for hundreds of Somalis. Politically, this is radioactive. Ilhan Omar held her 2018 victory party at Safari Restaurant, whose owner was later convicted in the fraud. One of her former campaign aides pled guilty in August 2025 to stealing $3.2 million through a similar scheme. Multiple donors tied to the fraud gave to her campaigns, and she promoted some of the fraudulent nonprofits at fundraisers. The House Oversight Committee just opened a formal investigation into both Governor Walz and Representative Omar's handling of the situation. The fallout in the Somali-American community is brutal. Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, around 80,000 people, most of them hardworking and law-abiding. Now many feel painted with the same brush. Hate crimes are up, and the rhetoric online is vicious. At the same time, some Somali-American leaders are speaking out, saying the fraudsters preyed on their own community's trust and made everyone look bad. So what happens next? More trials and guilty pleas through 2026. Some of these people are facing 20 to 30-year sentences. If hard evidence of money going to al-Shabaab is made public, we could see terrorism charges on top of the fraud charges. The political investigation in Congress will drag Walz and Omar into hearings, probably through the midterms. Immigration consequences. Trump has already signaled he wants mass deportations of anyone tied to the fraud, including green card holders and people with TPS. Nationwide crackdown on similar programs in other states. Maine is already dealing with its own Somali-linked Medicaid fraud feeding militias in Somalia. Worst case, more hate directed at innocent Somali Americans. Best case, real reforms so this can never happen again. Bottom line, good intentions during COVID met terrible oversight, cultural taboos around scrutiny, and outright greed. The victims are the kids who were supposed to get meals, the taxpayers who footed the bill, and the honest Somali Americans who now live under a cloud because of a few criminals. What do you think needs to happen? Tighter welfare rules, immigration reform, both? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash like if you want more deep dives like this, and share this video so people know what really went down. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.